Welcome back. Here we are again. We've got another review for you today, and as you can see alongside this new review, we've got some nice new design on the front as well. Check this out. Check me out. Moving up in the world. So hey everyone, welcome back. As I mentioned today, we've got a review on Spirit of the North. Spirit of the North was recently just launched on Game Pass, and what I'll do is I'll go into some of the good, go into some of the bad, go into some tips, and give like an overall score of this game. And then, yeah, at the end, let me know what you guys think. And of course, hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching this video. Be really appreciated. So anyway, let's just get into it, shall we? So, Spirit of the North by Infuse Studio. So Spirit of the North, just a quick intro to this. I won't give too much away because it is a short game. This is a action, not action, this is like an adventure puzzler indie style game. Basically, if you're watching the video here, you can see you play as this Arctic fox, or this like spirit fox, whose essentially goal is to figure out what's going on with the world because there's something wrong. I don't want to tell you too much on the story because that is one of the fun parts of this game, is trying to understand what's going on, and it does that via puzzles and via the landscape and stuff like that. But the basics are you're a fox who can jump, run, carry stuff, solve puzzles. It must be a clever old fox to do all that. But and essentially, yeah, you start your journey essentially up the mountain. And yeah, this is a game that is, like I said, it's an indie game. It's just launched on Xbox Game Pass, though it has been out for a couple of years. I think it's been out since 2019. But it's only just recently came to Game Pass. And I don't know if that's in anticipation for the second game. If those have seen before, if you've not seen, there's actually going to be a sequel to this, and we'll dive into that during my review. But anyway, cool. Let's start on the good, shall we? So the good of this game. The idea, the concept, the whole, you're a fox, you're a cute little animal who can bark, who can run, who's trying to like be helpful. Great concept, great idea. Like, I think that impacts a lot of people. That like when you think of like the game Stray with the cat and other games where I think if you say, oh, by the way, you can play as the fox, or you can play as the dog, or you can play as the cat, like people are like, right, I'm in. Like, no messing. Don't care what game it is, I'm going to play it. And that's got a bit of this vibe, so it's really good at getting you in initially. So it's really good at immersion, basically. It's very immersive, and alongside that you've got the setting as well. You've got a really cool setting, and which is based in like the Nordics, Scandinavia style, in this like quite a vast world actually for how small the game is. But I'll talk in more detail about the like graphics and the world and the quality and everything like that in a sec. Alongside all that like great idea of and format of the game and stuff, you've got the soundtrack. Excuse me. So the soundtrack is really cool as well. It's really immersive. For like the first 45 minutes I was just sitting there like mouth open at the screen. I was proper like immersed, and then I blinked, I was like, oh, where am I? And it's really good at doing that. It's really good at capturing you from the start. So I will give it that. What else I like about this game, and a lot of indie games have done it recently, obviously this is a bit older than some of the others I've played recently, but what does it just drops you in straight away. So if you like that kind of thing, it literally tells you nothing. It drops you in. It barely even gives you any controls to begin with as well in the tutorial. You do get some throughout, but at the start it literally just drops you in, and you just slowly make your way to understand what's going on. I finished the game, and I still don't fully understand it. I get the main idea of it, but there are certain bits I'm like, what's this mean? What's that mean? So you'll be questioning yourself quite a bit at the start, but I think that's a good way of tackling these kind of games, because it just lets you figure it out on your own. But aside from that, unfortunately, I can't think of much other good stuff. So I think let's touch on the old bad, shall we? And before I touch on the bad, let me just note that I might be a bit harsh, but also only like 2 people made this game. I think it was like two or 3 people in total, with some support from other things and stuff when you watch the credits. But when you look at this game, if you're watching, it's a good achievement. It's a solid achievement. Like it's a detailed game. It's actually quite big world-wise as well. So they definitely took on a big task, which I'll go into in a second. What I mean by that. But first off, the mechanics of the game. So the mechanics are pretty bad. The jumping, the actions, the interaction with the puzzles and stuff are a bit lackluster, and they're a bit poor. And what's that word that everyone uses? Like, a bit janky. It's not fully polished. Now, bear in mind, when I'm saying about this being polished, this version I played on Game Pass is apparently technically the enhanced edition. So they released the enhanced edition, and that's the version I played. Though I didn't see anything enhanced about it, unfortunately. The mechanics just felt off. There was things where I was able to do stuff when I think I shouldn't be able to, and there was stuff where I couldn't do stuff when I should be able to. Like, I could like jump into things, and like it just didn't. It started to break that immersion that I was talking about as a good point at the start, where things didn't like. It was like the physics. I'll put it that way. It's like the physics of the fox and of the game. Yes, it's a game and it's a spirit fox. It's not real. I know that, but it's just like, no, I shouldn't be able to get to that point, or I should be able to do that with the controls and the skills that you give me with this fox, basically. So that's the first stuff. The world is really, really nice, and I'll go back to what I said about it being ambitious. This game, to me, is like they started to develop it. They started to build the like surrounding world, the mountains, the grass, the stuff like that. And they're like, oh yeah, this is starting to look really, really good. And then it's like almost all of a sudden, someone's turned around to them and said, oh, when's this releasing again? And they've gone, oh, in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And then they've gone, oh, damn it. We've focused so much time on certain parts. We've focused so much time on the grass and the fox design and some of the rocks that we've not put attention into the other stuff, like some of the water mechanics and the actual gameplay itself. So that, to me, it feels like that's what happened. It probably didn't happen. I'm probably chatting waffle, but that's what it feels like. They spent a lot of time trying to build this quite, to be fair, vast world when they didn't need to. They could have pinned it down, focused it in, improved the quality a lot. And like I said earlier, this was meant to be the enhanced edition, so that should have been improved. But yes, it came out in 2019. It's a few years old now, but it's not a modern graphical game. It's really not. Like, when you get into the detail and when you start playing it on the trailers and stuff like this, it looks really good, and there is parts that are really good. But when you get into the actual gameplay and start playing, you'll notice what I mean by this if you decide to pick this up. And then alongside that, like, quality, you've got like some really poor like level designs. So it's done in chapters, this game. There's like 8 chapters in total, and there's no real like sense of direction, and the design doesn't make sense. There's no natural progression forward, so you can like turn off left and you just come across absolutely nothing. And it's like, oh well, okay, why is that part even there? Like, yes, it's open world, but if you're going to do some open world aspects, you need to give something to the player for exploring that path. Even if it's just a visual statue or something at the end that you can read, like, you can't, like, do all these angles. So there's this part here where it's, like, wide open in the mountains with the grass and stuff. Like, as you can see, you might be able to see from the video, it's quite open, but actually the stuff you need to do is very, very siloed. So it felt very weird. It felt really weird. It felt like I said earlier, they went for something ambitious and then they either reined it back in or they just simply ran out of time. That's what it felt like. There's some side stuff as well that's questionable. So I had a really issue with some of, like, the collectibles. There's a part where you can collect things to get achievements and stuff like that, but you can miss that quite easily, which I know you can with most collectibles. But the problem is you can't go back unless you literally start a new game or go to the menu and select the chapter again. There's certain points where I missed one collectible that I was doing from the start and I couldn't go back. So after that, I was just like, well, now there's no point me collecting. Like, if I seen there was an obvious one, and bear in mind there's only about 2 collectibles. You can see here with the shaman you might have seen in the video and carrying the staff in your mouth. That's one of them. But if you miss that and you, like, fall down somewhere, which I did, I, like, fell down to the next part of the level and I couldn't get back through because the door had, like, the, like, brick door had closed. So I was like, well, that's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, now I can't go back. Now that's broke my immersion even more. Kind of makes me not want to collect these things, apart from for achievements, which I will say, if you are an achievement hunter, you'll probably like this game because you do get a fair amount of achievements, to be honest, which is good for people who do that. What else could I say? I mean, I feel like I've said a lot of bad points, so you probably can predict where this is going. But was there anything else I said about the open world and stuff? Yeah, like I say, it gives you nothing in return for that open world, which is a bit unfair, I think. But that's the bad anyway. Don't want to get too much bad. There was I put quite a lot of thought in this, and this one was really, really hard because I did have fun. I did have fun with it, and I did enjoy the concept, and I really wanted to get invested in it, but I just couldn't, just because of the mechanics and the visuals and stuff. It really knocked it down for me. So before I give a final score, I'll just give some tips to anyone who does decide to pick this up. And the reason I'm saying if you do decide to pick this up, obviously, that you can look at these tips anyway. What I'm trying to say? I don't know what I'm on about today. I'm just all over the place. Like I said, be careful about advancing to the next part if you like collectibles, because you could possibly get stuck and then have to go back or start a new game, etc. Also, if you are an achievement person, simply sit there for a second, do nothing, go make a cup of tea, come back, and you can thank me later. So there's a few things like that. So there's a lot of achievements for doing things so many times or doing things for a certain amount of time. So just keep that in mind if you're one of these people who like to do achievements. And also as well, another tip I would give is use your, like, camera a lot to see the puzzles and stuff, because they're not always obvious. You do get a little guide at one point, but it seems to not always work, which is a bit weird. So be really visual of, like, and plan your route of where you think you need to go, because you will have to think about that quite a bit. So just watch out. Not many tips today because it's not a massive game and there's not a lot to it, basically. But yeah. Anyway, on to my final score. So I'm going to give this game a 5.5 out of 10. Now, it's probably the harshest review I've done so far since done these videos. 5.5 out of 10, and that's I'm really gutted by it, to be honest, because I got into it at the start, but then things just kept breaking my immersion. It just kept getting worse, to be honest, and it just felt wrong. It just didn't feel good enough. However, what I will say is, especially because the second one's coming out, you might want to jump into this, or you might want to wait, see what the second one's like, and then go back and compare the first one. To be honest, I think you'll probably be able to play the second one without the first one. So if you're watching this video, you've probably seen a good percentage of this game already to understand if you think you'll like it or not, and based off what I've said as well. So it's a 5 out of 5, but it's a weird one. Someone said, yeah, but should I play it? If you've got time. Don't go out your way and play it. Only if you've got time. Like I said, it's only a 4 or 5 hour game. You can finish it quite quick. But officially, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd wait for the second one and see what that turns out to be like. And I guess you can go from there and you can decide from there if or if not. But yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend it, unfortunately, because it's such a good concept. It's such a good idea. I'm really annoyed about it. Really, really annoyed about it, because I just love these kind of games where I can just run as an animal and stuff, like Stray and stuff. I love that. Unfortunately, it just annoyed me at certain points when I didn't want it to. Instead of like improving my thought on the game at certain points in the game, it got worse as it went along, kind of thing, which is weird. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that one today. Unfortunately, guys, bit negative, but I guess not every game you play can be a 10 out of 10er. It is what it is. We tried it. This is the beauty of Game Pass. It's the beauty of exploring Game Pass. You can try these games, you can play them, you can finish them if you want, you don't have to. But yeah, you get to taste these kind of games without realising. But yeah, that's it for me for today. So, like I said at the start, if you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. I love to see what other people think. Was I too harsh? Am I too harsh about this game? If you played it, if you've not played it, will you play it, or do you think this has put you off a bit? Yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think. Essentially, that's my review of Spirit of the North. Let's hope, fingers crossed, guys, that the second one is a bit better. And I'll leave you there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.